Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, and we're on the eve of round 3, and of course we all know what happens after 3 rounds. Of course the prices begin to change, obviously if a player is playing his 3rd game, but generally and for much of the competition most prices will now change. So we've got to really consider who have we missed the boat on, and who must we bring in before they go up in price, and who should we keep the faith with, where should our patience lie, and where should our priorities lie. Now firstly, I want to talk about rookies, and the teams have come in and we've been dealt a very nice layout of a team. Now not many outs in regards to SuperCoach, maybe a couple of rookies here and there, more of the unpopular ones, but we've been dealt a very generous hand of rookies that could really come in and save us. Of course, pre-season the concerns were high that we don't have enough rookies, they're not on offer, how are we going to make cash? And that reigned true over the first 2 weeks, and of course your Hibbards, your Mountfords, your Pickett's aren't firing, Smith got injured, you know, there's quite a few, Eddie got dropped, quite a few guys that we thought might be mainstays in certain areas were not, and particularly ones that have been in the side have been scoring very poorly, which makes it tough to really generate cash. So of course that's what it's about. In this early stage of the season we want to make as much money as quickly as we can, and round 3, or at least prior to it, is all about correctional trades, looking at players that maybe in hindsight you say, look, I maybe got that wrong. And then that's where you got to weigh up with, we've only had a sample size of 2 matches, do we keep the faith with certain guys? I'll talk about rookies first, and off the top, a few guys have come in. Jordan Dawson for the Swans, Jordan Foote, a more expensive rookie, also for the Swans coming in. Sam Durden, James Parsons of the Cats, upgrade off the rookie list. Tim Smith, of course, a mature age key forward for the D's. Who have we got? Griffin Logue, Harley Ballock, the axe has been swung out at Fremantle, 6 changes, 2 debutants there. Of course, Logue, a top pick last year, he's at 180k in our back line. Jarrod Berry, Hugh McCluggage, bang straight onto the ground, no mucking around with extended benches there. 2 of Brisbane's higher end picks, of course, McCluggage right at the top of the Brisbane Lions selections last year, will debut. Harry McKay also to debut for the Blues. Tom Williamson, extended bench, as is Jared Pickett, as is Ben Long for the Saints. So a long list of names, and of course Hayward, Newman, of course Fox are still looking very good types. Bruce as well are all players we must be looking at. So a real long list of names that are really looking good for us, because let's face it, we can't have blokes sitting on our pine that aren't making cash at a quick rate, and that's really where I feel most of our concerns and thoughts should go into this week. First off, who are some of the must-haves? I think Andy Otten, you got to get him. Scored 108 last week. Most people have him, but if you don't, I think he can make you some really quick cash. Braden Bruce, Goldstein has returned, so I guess that's worth noting there. But I do feel as if he will still get enough opportunity. And plus, he scored 111 last week, so he should really make some quick coin nonetheless, just off the back of that score. And one fella that has really conducted a lot of conversation, and I really want to talk about, is Will Hoskin-Elliott. So many people dominate the comments. Now often you see trends within comments, and it's generally a reflection of what the whole SuperCoach community is thinking, and Will Hoskin-Elliott was at the top of it. Now it really is a tough decision. Now if he's around your 150, 160k or even less at a bargain basement, he is a lock. Now, he's 213k, he's dished out, what was it, 88 and 121, I think. So he's about to explode price rise, there's no doubt about it. But I don't feel like it's just as easy said to just say go and get him, must have. For my team, I mean, you look at my side, he will make some great coin, which is fantastic, but we've got to think about the equation, and the fact that all these rookies have come through at a 120, 130k sort of mark in between there really goes against Will Hoskin-Elliott. If you got him, well done. I didn't think he was a great pick at the start of the year, proved us wrong there. if you've missed him, as far as I'm concerned, we've missed the boat. Now, I know it's about correctional trades, but looking at my side, some people float the idea of maybe a downgrade caddy to Will Hoskin-Elliott. I don't have enough confidence in his scoring ability. I know he's had some good scores, but I do feel it will more even out to somewhere in the 70s and 80s in regards to his average. I really do think that he's had a good start to the season, which is great, but I don't think we can bank on him to produce that sort of an average for a long period of time. So it begs the question of we're probably going to trade a rookie price player who maybe isn't firing, whoever that may be for your side. Now look, if I was looking at my team, probably Hannon is the man that you might think of offloading. Only scored the 31 points, still in the D side, but perhaps he would be the one most easily discarded. That would involve me spending about $100,000 to get Will Hoskin-Elliott, which is a massive investment. So let's forecast a little bit. 213k, he explodes over the next few weeks and rises up to, let's say, 390 quite quickly. Now, of course, I think that's pretty possible, given the fact that he has already got a few runs on the board, but a lot of his long-term pricing will be dependent on his scores over the next month. Alright, so hypothetically, I spend 100k, within a couple of weeks, Will Hoskin-Elliott has appreciated to 320k. My investment is break even, right there. That's just break even, because I've spent 100k to get him, and he's risen 100k. It's break even. I need him to make another 100k just to get me 100,000, and then I can start to feel a bit more confident. Now, of course, if we downgrade him or upgrade him, that's where that extra 100k sort of pays you back a little bit. But it's a big investment. In essence, it's an upgrade. 100,000 is an upgrade. It's not a big one, but it is an upgrade. Now, I'm just not sold enough on upgrading to a bloke who's a cash cow. And I know his scores have been great, but do not be surprised if he churns out a 70 or something on Friday night. I will not be surprised if he does. So if you think he's a must-have, he's not. I think he's one who must be strongly considered and is dependent on your own team. Someone you must think about how he fits into your structure, how your other rookies are going. Maybe you can afford to go an extra 100k. Maybe you can, but if the dollars are tight, because look, I think if we look at the big picture, Will Hoskin-Elliott is probably unlikely to go too much past 410, 415. I really think that'd be best case scenario. So therefore, that is probably 200,000 plus he's making you very good points if you had him from the start. If you've got to get him, you've missed the points, you've missed 200 points, and you'll only get 100 to 120k for your investment. So really break it down like that. You're paying 100k and you'll get none of the points you've missed out on. You'll get no 88s or 120s. Don't go chasing points. His selection is dependent on where you see his scoring ability from here on out. And I'm not sold on it, therefore I'm not prepared to pay 100k. So I've talked a little bit about Will there, but I think it's very important to discuss, and a lot of people are talking about him. He's a very nice mark, a clever player and a former top pick, but I do feel like he could still go missing at times. And yes, he's got on the end of a few goals, which is great. But I would love to see 3 to 4 weeks of him. Now, of course, we don't have that option in SuperCoach. Prices go up, you've got to make a call after 2. And my call is no. It's as simple as that. People may disagree with that, and I also may be forced to eat my words, but we'll wait and see. I just offer my own advice, my own humble opinion, and that's what it is. Look, Braden Pruce, as I said earlier, I think you should look to get him in. A lot of people will have maybe Darcy Cameron or a Strindika, but I do feel like given that a few rookie types have been dropped and also don't look absolutely confident in their selection, the best 22 going forward, Pickett, Barrett, Parfitt, there's probably a few more. Eddie's probably got to be one who's, always on the outer, given he was dropped just last week, really needs to perform. So, look, I'd have to say that we can't afford to have a 0 just sitting in our ruck 3. And I do think that we really should be looking to get Pruce in, because he can make us some really quick coin. And it's only 15 odd, 20 odd thousand to go up. Yes, that will take away for many of us our insurance for Sanderlands. Obviously, Strindika was the dual position player to allow Nankervis to swap into the forward line. I understand that, but the fact that Bruce is playing and really impressive, Brad Scott said he's got a very good future in front of him in his press conference. That's always great to hear. Provides a bit of a surety around his position in the side. I think that Bruce can just be the backup for Sandilands if he went down worst case scenario. And hey, if worst comes to worst, Bruce goes up in a bit of value. We trade him down for a dual position if Sandilands was injured or something like that. But we've got through 2 rounds. Hopefully the worst doesn't happen. Otherwise, in regards to rookies and the philosophy in general, now if you've got a Hibbert or something like that or a Mountford, don't trade them right now unless it's to a guy who's on the bubble. You know, don't just see Newman or Hayward or whoever it may be, or Vickers Willis or whatever you're thinking. Wait till they're on the bubble, because there's no harm in waiting 1 week. I know we like to maybe get players who are scoring, but you just never know what coaches are thinking. You know, Newman was great last week. You just never know. I mean, Heaney comes back or something like that, and all of a sudden he's on the outer and you only get 1 week out of him. I think it's just worth waiting till guys have played 2 games, then they're picked on the Thursday night, then you put him in your side. Just so we can be guaranteed of at least 1 price rise, because there's no point making the same mistake. I mean, we thought Hibbert would be a good pick. He hasn't turned out to be. He may well come back in the side next week if he plays well in the 2s, you never know. But we just can't take too many risks with rookies and shouldn't pull the trigger too soon. So give these blokes a couple of weeks, and if they're going well and pick the best one, then we can make the call. But we must make these rookie selections correct ones, and we are getting quite a few names through. Not all of them will be around for a while. You know, how will Smith go when Hogan comes back and things like that? You know, of course, the Swans will have a few coming back as well, and a couple of guys are on extended benches. But I think they've offered us a little bit, which is really great to see, and should hopefully attend to the shortage of at least pre-season rookies that were on offer. And hopefully we can get a bit of a second wind in rounds 2, 3 and 4 from a few of these guys scoring points. Just finally, I want to talk about maybe a couple of other decision makers that you want to have a talk about. Shaun Higgins, bring him in as far as I'm concerned. He's shown that he'll be a top 6 forward. He's playing right through the midfield, which is fantastic. I was considering him early, didn't go with him. He will be my trade for Caddy. I think Higgins is very important to get your hands on. People will talk Mark Murphy. I personally think, as good as Murphy's going, I still don't see him as a top 10 midfielder. And look, if you're searching for quick cash, then maybe you do go with him. But I mean, a lot of people say Dan Hanbury, out of form mid, trade down to Mark Murphy. You get better points, you get a bit of cash. Look, I can understand your thinking there, but don't be too flimsy with your trades at this time of year. It's only 1 trade now. It seems great, but trust me, there'll be trades we make, or most will make at this stage of the year, that come around 15 and 16 we wish we still had. I personally don't see a strong benefit in trading in Murphy. He comes under the banner of you missed the boat. Acknowledge it, you missed the boat. Alright, bite the bullet. It's unfortunate, you went beams, he's going fine. We missed the Mark Murphy boat. He started the season well. Forget it, move on. Alright, I think it's clear on that. If you trade him in, he makes you some good coin. That's great, but the consideration is then, will he be in my final side? I would have to say no. And therefore you've got to think, well, why am I trading him after 2 weeks for a bloke who... I'm sticking by Hanbury. I'll be watching the TV Friday night, really hoping he produces, not just for his sake, not just for my sake, but just everyone who's been on board him, and just for putting my word on him too. I really want to see good scores from Treloar and Hanbury, so let's see how we go there. Otherwise, I don't think there's other pressing issues really. You just got to look at your side as a whole and say, where am I maybe lacking? Who is probably a must-have or a really good buy that I don't have, and make the correction there. You know, whether it's a rookie, whether it's a Shaun Higgins, whether it's a Toby Nankervis, you know, whether it's an O'Meara and you're liking what he's doing after 36, 37 touches, you know, make the change if you feel you got it wrong. because this is the best time to do it. Prices start to change, players fluctuate, it's harder to get a hold of them, and place a priority on rookies who can make you money. That's where the priority must be. We really need our bench by the next fortnight to be filled with blokes who will play many games this season and make us a lot of cash. Fair to say we've probably, as a whole, got it wrong in the early part of the season. A lot of players are out that I've talked about or on the brink of maybe being dropped. But I think we've just got to consider over the next couple of weeks, these guys will come in. Within a fortnight, we really need to have a strong group of rookies scoring your 70s, 80s, maybe 90s, and that can make us a lot of money. Then we can go bang come round 7, 8, 9, 10 and beyond, where we upgrade and use the rookie ramp and grab a drop premium and things like that. So really use a bit of foresight. Put a priority on making coin and correct anything that you may have got wrong. Maybe it's a mid-price gamble or something like that. That's really where I think your attention should be focused tonight and tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, guys. A really interesting thought process and discussion today. I think it's crucial that we get these decisions right. So if you got any questions, shoot them my way. Unlikely I will get to them by the time the ball is bounced tomorrow night. Working tomorrow and then driving back to Geelong to watch the footy. I would doubt I would get on top to a laptop unless I have a cruisy day at work. So might get to a few later tonight after the footy show. I'll wait and see. But look, I feel like most of your questions that you've got, the answers will be inside this video. And if it's not an exact player, just follow the philosophy that I've been talking about with most players that you can probably have similar thoughts around other guys in your team. So I think most of it's answered within this video. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for getting on board, recent subscribers. Thanks for hanging around for long-time subscribers. Really appreciate it. Ticking towards the 800 mark. That's the next goal now. So great to tick over 700 in the last week or so. Thanks again. Give the video a thumbs up. Comment away. I'll try to get to them if I can. I'll see you guys next week.